Spoilers ahead, it's not easy to be a multitasker. 911's Aisha Hinds breaks down Hands Breakdown. Further down the road, there is a Wicker Man series in the works, creators and actors of The Crown on edge as filming of Princess Diana's death draws near. And after that, you'll have to stick around to find out. Let's go. Starting with 911's Aisha Hinds breaks down Hands Breakdown. Things have come to a head in a recent episode of Fox's 911 when Han, portrayed by Aisha Hinds, falls asleep behind the wheel while on her way home from a medical school exam after failing to save a man at work. Though she manages to avoid the accident, Han ultimately realizes that she failed the exam she spent all her free time studying for, and her teacher even thinks she may have to repeat the year. Turns out there's a good reason the episode was called Crash and Learn. In an interview with EW, Hinds explains what happened with her character and why. According to her, Han can't pass the opportunity that Bobby, who is portrayed by Peter Krause, offers her because he didn't believe she was equipped to enter the department when she first joined. And now the same captain is telling her she's capable of being a leader. For years, Han has been relying on her ability to make and execute a plan, and even after she crashes, she thinks she can work it all out. She simply can't give up now, not until she's forced to face reality. But she's not just failing the exam, she's failing at everything that she was entrusted to do, which is not something that is normal for Han, Hinds says. And now she'll be forced to make some very big decisions. Following, there is The Wicker Man series in the works. It's almost 50 years ago that Robin Hardy's horror classic, The Wicker Man, was released. Starring Christopher Lee and Edward Woodward, The Wicker Man became an instant cult classic, which was remade for the big screen in 2006, featuring none other than Nicolas Cage. But talks about another reimagining of the 1973 classic for TV have been going on for longer than you might expect. Red Production Company has been looking at the possibility to remake The Wicker Man after it was acquired by the French Studio Canal in 2014. And now, Howard Overman has penned a script for said series, and Urban Myth and the Imaginarium have acquired the rights from Studio Canal. In fact, they're in the early stages of pitching their ideas to potential broadcasters, according to Deadline. The Wicker Man tells the story of Sergeant Neil Howell, who travels to the remote Hebridean island of Summerisle by seaplane in order to investigate the disappearance of a young girl. The sergeant, who is a devout Christian, isn't exactly pleased when he finds that the inhabitants of the island pay homage to the pagan Celtic gods of their ancestors, but by that time it's already too late and all hell breaks loose. According to the co-founder of the Imaginarium, Jonathan Cavendish, Overman has created a bold, shocking, and unique series, pulling the themes and terrifying power of the original Wicker Man into a thrilling modern setting. We can't wait to hear more about this project. What about you? And now, creators and actors of The Crown on edge as filming of Princess Diana's death draws near. As preparations are being made to recreate the last tragic moments that led to the death of Princess Diana in a car crash in Paris 25 years ago, anxiety is starting to rise for Netflix's The Crown creators and cast. The majority of the scenes will be shot over a span of 2 weeks, with actress Elizabeth Debicki set to portray the late princess. Princess Diana and her boyfriend Dodi El-Fayed were riding in the back of a Mercedes-Benz on the 31st of August, 1997, with Henry Paul, a security officer at the Ritz, behind the wheel. Seated in the passenger seat beside him was Trevor Rees-Jones, who was a security consultant for businessman Mohammed El-Fayed, Dodi's father. Dodi and Paul were killed instantly. Princess Diana was alive when freed from the wreckage, but would die 4 hours later. Rees-Jones was the only one who survived the crash. We've been dreading getting to this point, sources told Deadline. I mean, there's bombshell sensitivity surrounding this one. The source also reiterated that the actual collision between the Mercedes-Benz and a white Fiat at the entrance of the Pont d'Alma won't be filmed. Instead, the show will focus on the events before and after the tragedy. It's been reported that Prince William has already expressed consternation because an episode in Season 5 of The Crown that will be released on the 9th of November 2022 shows how BBC's Martin Bashir engaged in subterfuge to get his interview with Princess Diana. Hold up, we're not done with you yet. Next, behind-the-scenes pictures of Mr. and Mrs. Smith shows the difference between Donald Glover and Maya Erskine. Johnny Galecki disagrees with how Jim Parsons left The Big Bang Theory, and new monsters are revealed for the supernatural spin-off The Winchesters. Stay tuned to get all the details. Let's get to it. First up, behind-the-scenes pictures of Mr. and Mrs. Smith shows difference between Donald Glover and Maya Erskine. New pictures from the set of Prime Video's Mr. and Mrs. Smith TV series have come to light, revealing the different styles of Donald Glover and Maya Erskine. The upcoming series is based on the 2005 movie of the same name, which starred Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt. The series has had some hiccups after an initial enthusiasm enthusiastic announcement, which was supposed to star Glover opposite Phoebe Waller-Bridge, but soon after the project was announced, news came out that Waller-Bridge had decided to step away due to creative differences. The split was amicable. Glover and Waller-Bridge simply had different versions of what they wanted the series to become. Later, it was announced that Erskine would take the place of Waller-Bridge, and now we've been given a cheeky first look of Glover and Erskine sort of in action, in their respective roles of Mr. and Mrs. Smith. The couple looked dashing in their contrasting looks, with Erskine in all black and Glover in all white. Plot details haven't been revealed yet, but it's safe to assume that the series will follow the same broad lines as the movie it was based on. While the 2005 movie drew a lot of attention due to the actors involved and their personal lives, the movie itself was received with lukewarm reviews. Hopefully, Erskine's versatility and Glover's undeniable talent will make the reboot stand on its own strong legs. What are your expectations for the upcoming series? Next, Johnny Galecki disagrees with how Jim Parsons left The Big Bang Theory. In the new book, The Big Bang Theory: The Definitive, inside story of the epic hit series by author Jessica Radloff, Johnny Galecki, who portrayed Leonard Hofstadter, opens up about his true feelings about how the show found its ending, and in particular, how Jim Parsons handled his exit from the wildly popular show, which wrapped up its run with an emotionally satisfying ending. But things weren't exactly the same behind the scenes. The truth is, The Big Bang Theory was still going strong, and CBS had just expressed that they wouldn't mind renewing it for another season or two. But in the end, Jim Parsons, who portrayed Sheldon Cooper, had decided it was time to move on after its 12-year run, mostly because he felt like they'd done everything for his character's personal story. And while most of the rest of the cast would have liked to continue, they decided to wrap things up with a complete cast, especially because the series leaned a lot on Parsons' character, Sheldon. But now Galecki says that Parsons could have handled his departure a little better. We were just blindsided that day, and not necessarily shocked by Jim's decision, but that he hadn't had that conversation with his classmates first to prepare us. Galecki says maybe Parsons has more in common with Sheldon than we thought. And lastly, new monsters revealed for the supernatural spin-off The Winchesters. Showrunner Robbie Thompson has revealed surprising details about the new monsters and demons that will be absolutely unique to this supernatural prequel spin-off, The Winchesters. The new series is set in the 1970s and tells the story of how the parents of Sam and Dean Winchester, Mary Campbell and John Winchester, met and fell in love, with Dean Winchester actor Jensen Ackles in the sound booth to narrate the story. The Winchesters will follow a generally similar format as its source material, but Thompson, who also worked as a writer on Supernatural, was quick to point out the limitations of revisiting demons and monsters that longtime fans of Supernatural are already familiar with, which is why he has encouraged his team to push for unique yet equally terrifying creatures that will keep new and old fans alike in the dark. Thompson has also acknowledged that the Monster of the Week format was one of the stronger points of the early seasons of Supernatural, and they're hoping to replicate that with the Winchesters, while also having a big bad guy weaving through the whole season. He also promised that while the Winchesters stands on its own, longtime fans will absolutely be rewarded for their loyalty. What do you think that means? And that's it. What do you think Hen will decide when 911 continues? Let us know in the comments what you think. Thanks for watching!